Hello, welcome to the History and Impact of Black Superheroes, a virtual program and discussion for Black History Month. My name is Brian, and I, along with my colleague, Cecilia, will discuss the history and the impact of Black superheroes to celebrate Black History Month. To start, we will briefly introduce the history of Black superheroes and describe their influence on the superhero genre and popular culture. A comparison between earlier and modern Black superheroes will be the primary focus of this presentation. Finally, a text-based discussion with library staff and patrons will follow during the virtual event on February 18th. After this presentation, we hope that you'll be more familiar with the history of Black superheroes and appreciate their contribution to superhero culture. We briefly discussed the progression of Black superheroes beyond supporting roles and into the roles of iconic leading characters. This movement demonstrates how Black superheroes have shaped comic book culture by promoting diversity and a broader range of characters, from the gritty Luke Cage, the royal Black Panther, to the teenage Miles Morales. Comic book fans can now expect wider cultural representation, depth, and relatability in their beloved superheroes, in part due to the growth of Black superheroes. For many, the history of Black superheroes centers around T'Challa, the Black Panther. With Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther and the Marvel Comic Universe films a box office record-breaking hit, the first Black superhero gained prestige and garnered a central position in modern popular culture. While Boseman stars as the Black Panther in the widely popular film, the character Black Panther initially played the role of a supporting character. First seen in a Fantastic Four comic, Black Panther was not a primary character for some time. Other Black superheroes would share similar supporting roles. In this image, from a 1969 Captain America comic, we see the Falcon, also known as Sam Wilson, in his first appearance. Eventually, we would see this character and other Black superheroes enter center stage. In fact, Sam Wilson dons the shield and title of Captain America in New Captain America, published in 2015. Let me continue with another role of Black superheroes, which paralleled the trend in popular culture during the 1970s. I'm referring to blaxploitation films, such as Shaft or Superfly. These were immensely popular and targeted Black audiences, and many other audiences found them enjoyable as well. These films were defined by morally flawed but ultimately good Black protagonists, bending rules, taking names, and sticking it to the man. One academic highlights the parallel between Priest from Superfly to a vigilante hero in comic books. Trade the purple pimp coat for a mask or a cape, and he could be the Lone Ranger or Batman, the academic says. In 1972, Marvel Comics introduced a character similar to blaxploitation protagonists, Luke Cage, an ex-con who returned to his neighborhood and fought against crime and corruption. Luke Cage, the first Black superhero in a titular role, opened the door for Black superheroes to contextualize Black communities and depict the hero's efforts to support their community. Still, this did not offer an entirely appropriate or groundbreaking portrayal of Black characters and communities. Certain stereotypes and cliche catchphrases remained to limit these depictions. Moving one step forward towards the modern depiction of Black superheroes, we have a female lead, Storm, who first appeared in 1975's giant-sized X-Men #1. Born to a tribal princess of Kenya and an African-American photojournalist father, Storm is the first major Black female superhero. Known as an incredibly powerful member of X-Men, she later adopts a leadership role in X-Men Volume 1, number 138. As a powerful Black female leader, Storm helped set the stage for other powerful black characters to fill a void of black representation in comics. For decades, the underrepresentation and the relegation of black characters to minor roles was all too common in comic books. In many instances, the black community was not appropriately presented nor given a fair share of the spotlight. Whether it was in the form of small roles, the portrayal of stereotypes, or the complete absence of black characters, this issue was apparent in comic book culture. In this Green Lantern comic, the issue of ignoring black communities was addressed in another way and would be remembered as a pivotal point in comic book history. With the frame pictured here, we can see an elderly black man challenge the Green Lantern for being inattentive to the concerns of the black community. By asking why the Blackskins received none of the hero's attention, this man pressed the superhero to acknowledge his shortcomings and his failure to adequately support the black community. In doing so, the larger comic community and society as a whole was called to address their own shortcomings. It can be said that the demand to better represent and support the black community was issued both in the immediate context of comics and beyond, in this image here. Over the past few decades, we witnessed impressive efforts to answer this call for diversity and inclusion in the comic book industry. With a shift of black superheroes into more significant roles, we can see these black superheroes answering the calls of their own community, as well as authors and artists answering a similar call. My colleague Cecilia will now speak about this subject to provide context and analysis about these black superheroes in the contemporary setting.
With a new century comes a new batch of heroes ready to take center stage in their own title. These new heroes zeroed in on the teenage demographic of the comic book industry, providing young black boys and girls role models that reflect themselves and their community. The age group of teen heroes, such as Miles Morales, showcase that it is okay to still be learning and finding your own potential while growing into your own powers. On this page, we see Miles Morales' Spider-Man struggle with his responsibility to his community. To new heroes, physical obstacles now appear to be more internal, bringing more depth to black heroes of the modern age. With the introduction of Storm in the 80s came a new wave of black female superheroes of the modern age, with introductions of brainy superheroes like Moon Girl and Ironheart, promoting strong role models to black girls everywhere. Now let's take a look at how these new heroes have come about on both the page and the screen. The comics industry has given many black heroes their own titles, causing a wave of new heroes and secret identities to be created. Miles Morales was created to be the new version of Spider-Man in the Ultimate series, a series set in an alternate universe separate from the mainstream Marvel universe. While Miles' personality of science nerd was similar to Peter Parker, the new Spider-Man had more modern issues and struggles within himself, reflecting the current culture of the Big Apple. Miles' plucky and geek-centric attitude seemed to spin out into many different modern heroes. With Smart being in, Moon Girl and Ironheart got their own titles, taking the lead as the most intelligent superheroes in the Marvel Universe. Even as 2021 begins, we are looking at two new heroes being introduced. DC Universe event Future State will feature a familiar face taking on the role of Batman in the future. Tim Fox, son of Bruce Wayne's longtime business manager Lucius Fox and brother to DC hero Batwing, will take on the Batman mantle, being written by John Ridley, screenwriter of 12 Years a Slave. In February, YA author L.L. McKinley takes on Nubia, a long-lost twin sister of Wonder Woman, created in the 1970s with a fresh take on what it means to be a black superhero in modern society. Superheroes haven't just exploded on the page either. Black superheroes have been given a lot of screen time within the last decade, from animation to live-action stories. Many current black-led superhero shows and movies not only feature a black lead character, but a mostly diverse cast. as lead, love interests, villains, and supporting characters. 2016 saw the arrival of Luke Cage in his first live-action appearance, becoming the first Marvel TV series headlining a black superhero. In his show, Luke Cage becomes a working-class hero for the people of New York, bringing a large sense of community to the people he looks out for. The world was introduced to the rich world of Wakanda in 2018 with the first Black Panther movie. While Luke Cage's setting is modern and familiar, the African nation of Wakanda is more influenced by Afrofuturism, creating a unique culture within the Marvel Universe. In 2021, we will see the arrival of the Falcon and Winter Soldier, a TV series featuring Sam Wilson as the Falcon, who will perhaps become the new Captain America in the future of the MCU. Black superheroes of the past are finally getting their time to shine on our screens with modern takes on old heroes, weaving them into our current society. In the present day, more characters are being created, written, and represented by the Black community, impacted by the first wave of Black superheroes. As a new generation becomes inspired by the bravery of Miles Morales and the brains of Ironheart and many others, only time will tell what kind of impact their representation plays on the future of Black superheroes.
Support public libraries. Like, share, and subscribe for more great videos.